G'day guys, Kiwi Bone under here once again. Just came in from outside, it's just getting bloody hot out there. Just another quick rant. Sort of on the same sort of vein as the armchair survivalist I was talking about before, but I see it's one of those other things that you see on all the forums of the videos, and they're like people sitting there ranting about how when the shit hits the fan, rah, rah, you know, whatever fucking scenario they're planning for or they've got stuck in their head. It's, if anyone tries to take my shit, I'm going to shoot them. And you're like, okay, that seems a little bit extreme, but you know, I'm quite curious to see how many of those people have actually been in like a serious situation like that, where like at the end of the day, like, you know, I understand you got to take care of yourself first and your family and and your friends. That's perfectly well and good, but I don't, and you know, people just going to leave people to fend for themselves. Like, I've said this in other videos before, like I'm in Christchurch, New Zealand, like we had those earthquakes the other year, and that was like the September one was a 7.1 magnitude quake, and that was September 4th 2010. Happened at 4:30 in the morning, so just about everyone woke up to it. It was such a loud rumbling, it woke me up before it actually happened, because I'm quite a light sleeper, and I actually thought someone was stealing my wheelie bins. Like the rumbling noise sounded like they were rolling them down my driveway, so I jumped out of bed, like it was summer, or Canadian summer, it was hot as, I was sleeping like completely naked, jumped out of bed, made it to my doorway just in time, and then started holding on because everything was shaking all over the place. You can't run in an earthquake like that, you just cannot. Like, everything's just moving all over the place, no way in shit you're going anywhere, especially not in the dark. You just woken up trying to navigate hallways and stuff. I just held on and tried to stay on my feet, but like straight away you're not thinking, like, first thing I thought was, you know, maybe a tsunami, but I've already looked into that. I'm like 18 k's away from the ocean through various terrain. Like, the huge tsunami that hit Japan only got in 16 kilometres, and I think mainly that was because it was funneled in certain places just by the way the coast is, just with the mountain ranges hitting the water with valleys in between them. I reckon that's the only reason that volume of water managed to get that far inland. So like, that was the first sort of thing, like, do I need to go to higher ground? Highly doubt it. So I just sort of, well, obviously Japan quake hadn't happened then, but I didn't think it was going to get anywhere near me. So first thing I panicked about was family and friends. Started calling everyone, seeing what's happening. Second thing was I was supposed to be at work at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I called up. They're like, well, we're not opening, but everything's a fucking mess, because I work in a butchery and a supermarket. So I called up. The butchery was fine, like, it's just meat, like, you know, nothing really fell over, it's just meat. But the rest of the shop, there's like glass jars and shit just falling everywhere. Turned up, it was a mess, there was glass everywhere. I ended up pulling my duct tape out of my wallet and duct taping my fingers and my hands to try and pick the stuff up, because they were giving you like the little sort of cleaning gloves, but people were getting decent cuts on their hands just from trying to pick up glass, or they wouldn't realise it was glass and they'd pick something up and they'd get a shard in their hand. So I just covered my hands in duct tape, and then just went about that. You look like a dick, but it works, got the job done. I only got a few little cuts and scratches on the end of my fingers from just when you're sort of scooping stuff up, but there was probably like 200 of us there, and it took 6-7 hours to clean up the whole shop, and you know, that's with skips and all that kind of crap. And you know, you're talking to your mates and making sure they're alright. February, ended up going to help out a few of my mates and work again, and other people down the street that had problems with liquefaction and stuff. Like, you can't, it's easy to say it when you're not in the situation, to be like, you know, bugger everyone else, me first. Like, yeah, you first to a degree, but if you see one of your mates, or like even just the guy down the street you've never talked to before, kind of having a bit of a stress out, or they've got a wheelbarrow and a shovel out and they're trying to shovel like 8 inches of silt out of their fucking driveway in their garage, or it's inside their house, which happened to one of my mates as well. Like, we were around there for hours trying to clean his house up, and you can't just say no. Like, that could have been you, and if you're by yourself then you're shit out of luck. Like, you know, you can't be that much, well, you'd hope you're not that much of a cock, when it's not like a life-threatening situation completely, that you can't say, you know, tell you what, mate, I'll help you out for an hour, or whatever, like, or 2 hours, or whatever, and then, it just irritates me when you see all these people and they just go way over the top, and you're like, mate, you're living in a fucking fantasy land. Either that, or you've never, ever been in a situation similar to what you're even talking about, which, yeah, I just think that's another one of those armchair survivalist things, and people saying they're going to sit on their rooftop and snipe people off, and you're like, fuck off, don't be a dick. Hard enough to hit a deer that doesn't know you're there at like a couple hundred metres away. If people were trying to like storm your house, like they're just going to walk at you slowly in a straight line anyway, like even if they were, like, just stupid people. But just another random one of those things that I see quite a lot on, well, I suppose everyone sees quite a lot on the internet, and just one of those things that maybe you should think about before you say it all the time, that you're going to kill random people over a can of beans, or, you know, leave some kid, like that was the other thing, like, people in town, like, if I saw a little kid, like, running around crying, like, you see them, I saw them all over the news, like, luckily I wasn't in town, but you couldn't leave, like, a 4-year-old little kid standing there covered in dust and blood and crying. You couldn't just leave them standing in the middle of the fucking road, like, and yeah, just one of those other things that irritates me, like, people obviously haven't thought through what they go around saying on the internet, but that's the beauty of the internet, I suppose, for some people, is they can say things without actually having to say it to someone's face, or without, you know, you can type it and you can say it straight away, and then either you can't clarify it properly because, you know, it's just you say it in anger or just on the spur of the moment, and then people call you out on it, or like they can't call you out on it then and there, and you have to reassess it, but what you said. But yeah, just another one of those things that irritates me, I suppose, is all the macho stuff that goes on. But right, cheers.